Let's do a Spalling video. This is some Alabama Coastal that's raw that I collected in, well, Alabama. I won't get much more specific than that. It's got some really nice material on the inside, but it's got a lot of seams, as you can tell. So let's start with this piece, and I have a handful more that I want us to get to, hopefully in this video. And so yeah, so we'll start out, we got a dip here, and we got a seam here. So, sorry for the background noise, but just gonna simply, open this piece up and see what we can gather from it. Don't know if that platform's good enough yet. This one definitely isn't, but this one is. It's just enough for us. Now I generally like just kind of nice little patties. I'm gonna have to end up removing this seam here, so bear with me. So I like to heat them up when they're pretty thin. This might not work here, but no. That's just a personal preference. I think they heat better that way, in my opinion, for coastal plains chert in particular. But I have heated bigger pieces, and they do well if you heat them right. But generally speaking, I like them, thin as I can get them raw, and then I'll put them in the old roaster or kiln. Okay. I'm gonna do one of these longer plates. I'm gonna do 2 strikes. One here on the side, which didn't work very well, in all honesty. And is this the greatest platform? No, definitely not. But I was able to slide across, get a little bit. You can see some of the variation in there. And of course, right up next to the cortex is gonna be your slickest stuff. And so that is where, well, really both sides are pretty slick. So we'll just go with the flow and see what this stone gives us. Now the seam runs through here, so I'm gonna try to break it and see what we got under there. Okay, so I was able to undercut the seam. Starts here and starts here. So that gives me a bit more information. Now I think this part should come off easy. Yeah, just a little bit left. This other part will be a little bit more challenging. And we got to figure out what part we want to keep. So looking at it, well, let me figure it out first, and then and then I'll tell you what I want to do. I have to clip this. Really, both look okay. Depends on how much of this top we're gonna have left, because it does go down a bit. Towards the front. Marshall, push. Okay. Now we'll have to clip this from the front for sure, just because the tip is technically connected to all the stuff we're getting rid of. So this will be our length. And I think what I'm gonna do is undercut this and then shoot back. So undercut the whole thing like that, and then shoot back and clear up any of this thin stuff here. Now this piece of coastal is so nice, I might just work it raw. I don't say that about many, oh, that fan got me. I don't say that about many coastal pieces, but this one is really nice. So might as well, I'm telling you, these vehicles in there, some are so loud, it's ridiculous. Didn't sound all that good, but it did do some isolation work for us. Gonna hit down here. Come on now. There we go. So isolate this for us. I just gotta hope it's strong enough to peel off the flake that we want. Yeah, it was. Look at there. Nice spall. Beautiful inner parts of that. And just love the outside variation. I don't know how. Yeah, you can see it there. But really pretty. Maybe we can make a point out of that too someday. Okay, just kind of looking at where we're at. This is below center line. Our length is going to be back here. And again, y'all know I like the length when it comes to rocks over width. If we can keep it long and wide, that'd be great. Not always possible. Now, only other thing is this here odd part, which we can get out in a number of ways. We can shoot it from here, but I think the best viable way, and I'll show you why, is this here. Because this is a great platform and that would erase this. However, by getting rid of this here, I mean, it would be fine, but we'd have to draw this side in even more. I don't know how to explain that. Might have to do it anyways if this doesn't work out. But hopefully I can push this across, because it is a flat plane in between, and it rises up. It goes down and up. I was able to hit back. Isolate. Yeah, there we go. And that thins out the back side, this side, without just drawing up everything here and then keeping it thick over there. So that was able to erase that thickness. And now we can come back through and work what we need to. But now, instead of wasting this good platform, which is another benefit, on going through here, we can use it to come straight across and get rid of a lot of oddball stuff. Which actually we may come forward first, just to isolate it further. Then we can come here, and this won't blow it all the way across. Let me try this first. Because we do have a seam here. I need to figure out how deep that is, because I don't like that. Actually, let's do this number here. This won't do what I want it to, but it'll do enough to kind of see what this seam is all about. We're kind of abrading some of that clay away. Okay, yeah, that seam, I think, is taken care of. The further in we go. Marshall, back up. There you go. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave this one raw. It'll still be tough to work, but I think I can do it quite easily. See, that cortex went down even further than I thought, which is okay. Which means that we might allow this to be the tip. For sake of length. Possibly, we'll see. We still have a ton of different options. This is one of those hits that I typically take after I heat it up, but I'm curious how this bopper will do. Oh yeah, does well even on raw material. So that was able to clear some of that out, and I don't know. I don't want to move the light because, anyways. Okay, so there's number one. Do I want to clean this one up for you? I shouldn't be using this bopper. Let's not do that. Okay, now this one's interesting, and I picked this one out for a purpose. Really for me, but for you guys too. That's because this is some nice purple, which is really uncommon to get it consistent. Well, interestingly enough, it looks consistent, and this is raw chert, but look at this garbage. So everything, and I already took a flake here, which is like, if this is the face that we're wanting to keep, I took a flake down, and as you go up or down into this garbage here, you can see it's not terrible. You can heat that up and still work it. But what I'm gonna do is try to get rid of the garbage under my hand and keep, hopefully, a remnant that's good. Now this comes down pretty high, so we're just gonna have to see. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have to see. This may work and this may not work, but we'll figure it out. I don't like that. Where's my big, is that it? No, oh, there it is. Haven't used this one in a while. This is a solid copper billet. I sometimes use it for spalling. Okay. See how that's just absolute cruddy crap. And oftentimes that's what people sell. I mean, if they're selling, I mean, not all the time, but I do see it. But right now, by the way, I truly think that, I used to sell coastal, I don't anymore. But I think if you're gonna sell coastal, it needs to be the slick kind of stuff, personally speaking. Anything that's kind of left to chance is going to be really iffy. Now this one might not work out. And we're probably going to have to get rid of more than I think we need to. Well, it turns out that even this slick stuff isn't all that great. Do I want to even go through with this? Seam goes up. No, I'm not fooling with that. All right, let's get to another piece. Now this one's interesting. This one has a couple different flavors in it. This is Bama Coastal. It's got this kind of grainier stuff that heats up nice, by the way. You have the typical white coastal. Then you have my favorite, this kind of what we just call a Mussy Creek agate. So this is really interesting because this is what you find in coastal. 50 different kinds of variations. Some are highly silicified, others not as much, and the further you get into the rock, usually the worse it is. It's kind of similar with coral too. But I'm thinking that if we can keep this top face, which might not be agate all the way through, even if we lose some length, I'd rather keep the agate portions than any of the rest. So yeah, that's what I'm going for. I mean, come on, that's just beautiful. Now, this little triangle here, I'm just gonna just kind of flake into it. Angle it and write it all, but don't really care, honestly. This angle actually looks decent. Let me see now. All right. So what was lower grade, the further down you go, gets a little bit better. You get to some agate areas. Okay. Actually very similar to this other piece we're pulling around with. Okay, now that's already plenty smooth. Plenty smooth. Okay. Down here. So for sake of setting up a good platform, I'll braid down, and what I'm gonna do is hit one flake into here, which isolates another one to come across. Now this one won't go all the way over. Mine can make it though. I'll bevel that enough. Make it roll over? I'm doubtful. If it does, it'll take too much, I think. Now, sometimes coastal is too dense, and so it won't undercut some areas that, say with coral or something else, it would. Nonetheless, even this rougher stuff naps like a charm. The only issue is this stuff needs like 700, 625, 700. This stuff only needs 500 or so degrees. And so that causes a problem. Well, when you heat it at times, but mostly when you're napping it, and you got different qualities in your finished piece. I mean, it makes it hard. All right, so we undercutted some of that stuff, and looks like this is going to be crusty either way. And if we have variation in a point, it's got this and that, I'm totally cool with that. That'll be the neatest point ever. But you're way more likely to break it. Okay, so a little bit better on this face, obviously. It's the face where cortex is, outer part of the rock. Cut a little too far there. That's okay. Now we're gonna have to undercut some of this. Rough material going into nice material can be a weird, it might not flake as easy as you think it ought to. Again, this is our length, and I want to keep our length best we can. I'm gonna take this, see how hard I'm braiding. I mean, I'm taking off big flakes. Let's see about using this again. If I was hitting into this, no, but since I'm going back that way, not bad. I could try it though. I'm doubtful. It's got a chance. All right, so it ran across. And that's not a bopper thing. I'm not doubting the bopper. In that situation, I'm doubting the stone. To go from this really nice material to this kind of, you could tell how grainy that is. Eventually we're gonna have to bevel it. Let me try using it again here. All right, so it actually broke off a bit. But it did really well. I mean, come on, look at that. That is awesome. What are we at, 21? Okay, then I'll end with this one. We'll keep going for a little bit, but no reason to start another one at this point. Now I said I'd only really use this bopper for thinning, but I did get 2 of these boppers, and I mean, if they're working this well on C-grade coastal raw, then hey, I'm gonna order some more. Again, I don't get any commission from these things. I like Richard and I like the material he puts out. Now this is cool. This is where the transition actually occurs under the Cortex-y holy stuff. You then get this nice transition, which is just beautiful. It's just a matter of getting down there to it. See if this will, I'm really doubtful on this one. Hey, it worked. When I say I'm doubtful, like I wouldn't take the flake if I didn't think it had a chance of going, but doubtful in that I can't guarantee it's gonna do what I want. This pulls off some flat flakes, that's for sure. Had some people comment, does this hurt your leg? Yeah, absolutely it does. Probably need some more padding, honestly. But, you know, I'm used to it at this point. Now we're gonna have to get rid of all this mass. You know why? Because this right here is where that seam starts. So our center line has to be at least here. So everything under there has got to get going. Which is kind of sad, because I know there's good material in there. But gotta do what you gotta do, right? Right. And oftentimes when you do heat up a piece of coastal, or you use a piece of coastal that you biface near the cortex, you will get colors like this. And man, they they can come in all kinds of colors. Now you can see just how good this material is on this face. So we're about done. I just want to get past there, which we did. This side we can fool around with later. Just kind of setting it up for future platforms there. But hey, we got two nice ones and plenty of flakes, so I'm cool with that. This one has variation in it, and this one kind of doesn't, but it's really pretty and glassy. So two nice size chunks. I'm gonna have to get that before I lose it. 7 inches, and towards the tip is 7.5. So pretty cool. I mean, I got flakes all around here, but nothing crazy. Anyways, hope you enjoyed, and yeah, we will catch you on the next video. Peace.